Welcome back to another episode of Watch Therapy. Today we have a Omega Speedmaster automatic. Let's take a moment to connect with this beautiful, beautiful timepiece. Well, I'll tell you what, I could connect all day with this thing. In fact, ever since a good friend of mine here in Colorado Springs, Colorado, a huge watch enthusiast who has taught me a lot about watches. We love to talk watches, share kind of ideas or awesome things we see online. Well, this is one of his babies, and man, I've only had it like 2 days, and it's just growing on me. It's just growing on me. It is such a good looking piece. So I'll put the reference number in the description, but that is 561815566. And like I said, it's been growing on me. I love this bracelet. It's so silky. Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to put it on. I told you how much I liked it. Let's see what it looks like while it's on. I have a 17 centimeter circumference wrist. That's a little over 7 inches. And right there. There's the money shot. It just works. In some ways, when I first thought, it's such a simple timepiece. It's been, the first watch to the moon. It's got those accolades. But what is so different about it? Why are people so gaga about it? Why does my friend love this thing and wear it, dailies it? And, it's because I think it's, dare I say, it's almost like the term that came to my head is may not right. It's like a feng shui thing. Like if I took any of these indices or lines off or removed any part of the design, or if I added any more to this design, added any more to the dial, the bezel, added another pusher, whatever, I think it would be ruined. I really do. It works so good as is. I think you would agree. And it's got a little bit of polishing kind of on the sides here, lots of brushing, but that's kind of how I felt about it. And then I would say that goes also to the weight. It's quite thin. It's so comfortable on wrist, has a lot to do with this lovely bracelet. More about that in a minute. But I think all those things just work. And the black and the white and the silver. And I think, it's hard to maybe see, but all the numbers on the taximeter scale are silver, right? And they just blend together. It's so well balanced. I believe this piece is from 1999. You can buy a very similar one now. It's a 39 millimeter. It's referred to as the reduced version. Carries a caliber 3220. Obviously an automatic. And the power reserve is modest. It's 40 hours. But if you're wearing it almost every day or you have a watch winder, it's nothing to worry about. My friend that loaned it to me said it's maybe plus 5 minutes a month. And I like that. That's such good information for me to hear because, that's with daily wear. I don't like when people that review watches refer to their, accuracy based on the specs on the website, because that is like in a controlled environment. You wear this every day, hot, cold, what have you, moving it around, all these different positions it might be when you're wearing it. And 5 + 5 in a month is great. Now, he did have it serviced, and I looked at the service bill, and it had to do, it's like a regular service. They changed the oils out in the movement, but it was also for accuracy to get it on the time graph and get it as accurate as it could be. Now, that regular service, this is something to think about, was $761 at an Omega boutique in Denver. $761 out the darn door. And that's, you got to love your watch. and I know he does, and I know I would if this was my watch. So it's a part of it, part of ownership. It's not a part of ownership that I've had personally. I've got several quartzes, a spring drive. None of them need servicing. I do have a couple of those quartzes though that are serviceable. If 20 years down the line they're way off, they can be taken apart piece by piece, as this one was, the entire movement, because it's a full metal movement and escapement, and be serviced. But I haven't had to do that yet. But I've worn this a few days, had it a few days, and worn it and just looked at it and just really fell for it. I did see one recently, one for sale. It was a 42 millimeter, I think, and it was of similar age. I think that would be better for my size wrists. So 17 centimeter circumference or 7.125 inches. I think for me I think that's kind of as big as I would go, maybe a little bigger, but I like them. I think that's pretty good. That 39 right there. I think my preference would be the 42. You can see there. That's a better shot. You can see how much is left of my wrist right there. I love that. Looks like it tapers down. Now the bracelet I keep talking about and fawning over, well, that's actually my only, in the short time I've held this, it's the only thing I don't really like. I'm sure they have other ones, but this was, I like it. It got Speedmaster, it's been stamped. It's great. But the only thing I would say for me is just putting on and taking it off. I can't tell if I'm like hurting it. If this is, see, there's a little play side to side there. So sometimes it comes down and you can kind of see the edge there on that side, and it may not be straight. So I found myself kind of pushing, and I had to push extra hard. And then this, I'm still having to, you don't obviously want it. It's not twin deployment, I guess. So there's no like pushers, then pulling it. So it is really the only way that it holds itself. But that just, to me, it feels like extra effort. I feel like I'm hurting it. Honestly, I think I'm just trying to take care of this thing, but it feels like I'm hurting it. And I don't like that, but I guess it's just how it's supposed to be. It just feels like I really have to press hard, and it sort of slams together. A solid snap, it's just a little thing I noticed. If I had to choose something that was not quite to my liking, I would like to have that just a cleaner clasp closing. It does have a small seconds, as you can see, and it's got the chronograph. Start that up. Super smooth, love it. Stop it, reset it. Not much to it. It has 100 feet of water resistance. As I've said, a 40-hour power reserve. It's got that great compact sizing in the 39 millimeter. I would also say it's solid without being heavy. Does that make sense? Because it's thin, but it just feels so solid, such quality. But that doesn't come at the cost of wearing a wrist weight that is barely, the watch is just like pounding your wrist all the time. It feels very lithe, very supple, well made. Every piece just seems like it's just been chiseled from one block, even though these things have been added on. But it just feels so solid without being heavy, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's really it. I love it. I think it's a great watch. I would buy one. I would definitely buy one. It's got me thinking about buying one. That's for sure. It just looks classy. It's not loud. It's not overly shiny. There's not so much polished on here that you're worried about scratching it. My beloved Grand Seikos suffer from that. There's so much Zaratsu polishing that I worry about that. And it's just great looking. It's great to look at whether other people think so or not. I found myself just constantly checking the wrist. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.